Greetings friends, welcome! In this video, I'll be showing you how I created this book look for The Veiled Threat by Sophia Menesini. For this book look, I was hugely inspired by the cover art, the main character, as well as a special scene in the story. So if you're interested in how I put it all together, please keep watching. Alright, so I start by removing any oils in my brows with a little bit of alcohol on a cotton pad and block my brows with a washable glue stick. The way I like to do this is by running the glue stick in the opposite direction of my hair growth, comb through with a spoolie brush, and then run the glue stick in the direction of my hair growth to flatten it out and to ensure that it stays down during the painting process. I'm making sure each layer of glue dries pretty well before adding more layers of glue, and I'm going to repeat this process until my brows are dry and pretty flat and smooth. Next, I'm going to prime my face with my everyday face primer, which is e.l.f. Poreless primer, pressing it into my skin and bringing whatever excess down onto my neck. I don't have any color corrector on me, so instead I'm going to use NYX SFX Cream Color in Orange, using my finger to press and layer the color in. I'm just repeating this process until my natural eyebrow pigment is blocked out, enough for me to paint over. I'm going to set my brows with some Ben Nye Neutral Set Colorless Powder, patting that in with a powder puff. Next, I'm taking a mix of my everyday BB cream and some white body paint. I'm taking this mixture and dabbing it all over my face and neck before buffing it all out with a foundation brush, adding more white or more BB cream wherever I see fit and doing the same down my neck, chest, and shoulders. I want a lighter toned base to help the blue paints and shades that I add later pop, but I still want my skin to look like skin instead of pure white paint. I'm setting all of that with the same neutral setting powder I used earlier. Using the e.l.f. Cosmetics Dark Blush Palette, I'm using the tan shade to bronze around my cheeks, forehead, and the sides of my nose. And I'm using the brighter pink shades across the apples of my cheeks, my nose, as well as my forehead, neck, chest, and shoulders. Afterward, I'm setting everything with Cover FX High Performance Setting Spray. Once I'm dry, I'm going in with the Creative Me 1 palette by Coastal Scents, using the shade Electric Blue and patting that color onto my eyelid. I'm trying to go for a watercolor bleed and bloom effect, so with a fluffy blending brush, I'm messily dabbing and pulling the color out instead of smoothly blending everything in. Next, I'm going in with the shade Indigo, focusing the darker shade closer to my eye creases and outer corners of my eyes, following the same rough blending process, dragging the colors higher up my lid almost right under my natural brows. Using the shade Deep Grape, I'm just deepening the indigo shades I laid down earlier, messily blending it down onto my lower lash lines. To add some texture and more color to my eyes, I'm using a duochrome eyeshadow pigment by MAC. This is in the shade Steel Blue, and I'm using this to add some more shimmer and also to add some of the greenish hues from the book cover up into my eyes. See book cover, woohoo! Using Yara from the Magic Palette by Juvia's Place, I'm tracing out the base of where I want my dripping watercolor design to run through, and I'm using a flat packer brush to do this. Like the eyeshadow, I'm not being too clean with this, and I'm wiggling my brush slightly as I trace down to mimic the way wet paint would drip or how watery, runny makeup would act on my skin. I'm also leaving places I'd normally use to contour, like under my cheekbones and near my hairline, for when I layer darker shades of blue and eventually body paint. Next, I'm dipping into the Zulu palette by Juvia's Place, layering the shade Metallic Aquamarine on top of the patterns I just traced, using them to define my facial features even more. I'm repeating this process down my neck and onto my chest, keeping my natural highlight and contour points like my collarbones and my neck in mind upon pattern placement. Lightly spraying a foundation brush with water, I'm dabbing into a dry cake of blue body paint, and I'm patting that color onto places where I would normally bronze or contour, like my shoulders, under my chin, under my cheekbones and hairline, and I'm using the same patting and dabbing technique as my eyes to create this watery, wet, and runny texture. This took some time to achieve, so I think this would be a great time to talk about the book. For those of you who haven't read The Veiled Threat by Sophia Menesini, The Veiled Threat is an adult epic fantasy romance story, and the story follows an elf pirate named Shay Lara, who is the current reigning captain of the Veiled Duchess. Shay is about to retire from her life of high sea adventuring when a mysterious stranger comes with an offer she can't refuse. All she has to do to get the prize of her dreams is to kidnap a princess. Things seem easy enough until sparks start to fly between both Captain Shay and the princess. So if you'd like to know more about it and hear what I thought about it, check out my book talk on The Veiled Threat in the link below. For those of you that have read The Veiled Threat by Sophia Menesini, this makeup is inspired by a certain scene that involves water elementals and our main character, Captain Shay, getting attacked and drenched by some of them. I wanted to do a combination of this scene along with a cosplay look for Captain Shay, all while using similar paint textures and colors from the cover, and how I would picture getting splashed and drenched by water elementals from the story. I'm also going to dip into the Masquerade palette by Juvia's Place using the shade Ada to trace out my new brows. I'm placing these brows slightly higher than my natural ones and following their shape and thickness just slightly higher. Once that's done, I'm just retracing where the water designs would run. With a very small detailing brush, I'm dipping into some black body paint by Mehron and ever so slightly separating and defining the colors on my eyes. To highlight some of the colors and to add a watery-like sheen, I'm using Mehron's metallic powder in silver, dabbing them in random places and smudging some on my upper lash line to give my eyes a little bit more dimension. For any of the colors that got blocked or muted by the silver, I'm using the shades Dahlia and Chi from the Masquerade palette to redefine them. I'm also using a little bit of white cream paint to highlight along some of the darker markings on my eyes. Using the same blue body paint from Mehron that I used earlier, I'm adding a lot of water and really wetting my brush to create actual runny paint patterns on top of the ones I just traced out with eyeshadows. For the areas that don't drip on their own, I'm just dragging the color down with my paintbrush or adding extra water with my brush and even a spray bottle to make the color run naturally. I'm also keeping a tissue on hand for any areas that get too out of control. At this point, I'm just having fun making a mess. Using a splatter brush and the same blue paint, I'm splattering all over the negative spaces to add more texture and to help define my features. Like the cover design and with Captain Shay's hair in mind, I wanted to play up the red accent color and splattered on some red paint across my nose to mimic freckles. Using Spirit Gum, I'm applying some elf ears that I got from the Halloween store. I'm not going to worry about fitting them perfectly to blend with my ears, as the wig I'm putting on at the end will cover most of it up. While the ears dry, I'm using some white body paint to highlight and break up some of the blue on my face and body, the same way I did with my eyes, also using it to redefine my neck and my collarbones. I'm also using the same white body paint to match the elf ears to the rest of my current skin tone. I'm going to use NYX Suede Lip Liner in Plum to shape and fill my lips. I wanted it to look fairly natural but match the red tones on my face and my hair. So my eyelashes are naturally straight, so I'm just going to curl them before I put on some false lashes so they blend in a little bit better. I usually stream on IG Live and Twitch at this point in my BookLook, so if you see me talking, it's because I'm streaming. After, I'm just coating both my top and bottom lashes with some mascara. Next, I'm gonna slap on a bold cap, blend in my hairline, and put on a wig off camera. The very last step of this book look is always my favorite, and that's highlighter and glitter. Woo! So I have to apologize, I forgot to show the products on camera, but for these, I used Silver Mehron Metallic Powder for my highlighter, and I'm also using Sally Girl Sparkle Effect Glitter in Blue Lagoon, applying it with Lit Cosmetics Glitter Base. And after that, we're done! Yay! But that was pretty much it on how I created this book look for The Veiled Threat by Sophia Menesini. Again, thank you so much, Sophia Menesini, for commissioning me for this book look and for sponsoring this video. Yee! This was so much fun to put together and paint, and even more fun to read. If you've read The Veiled Threat, please check out my book talk and feel free to comment down below and share your thoughts. I'd love to geek out with you all and talk about the book. If you like seeing these kind of videos and you want to see more, please let me know, and if you have any book suggestions for me to read, please let me know down in the comments. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye!